My name is Stephanie. I'm 45 years old, and for most of my adult life, I believed I was the kind of woman who had it all figured out. I worked hard, climbed the corporate ladder, and earned my place as a human resources officer for a major financial institution in Memphis, Tennessee. A $180,000 salary landed in my account every year, steady as clockwork. I had the car, the wardrobe, the address, the respect. And I had Nick, my husband, the man who was my safe place. For 15 years, we built a life that felt steady, warm, and unshakable. He worked as an electrician, practical, reliable, and proud of what he did. Nick was the kind of man who came home smelling faintly of sawdust and metal, whose hands were rough from work but tender when they held me. We weren't perfect, but we were happy. Weekends were for long drives with the windows down or lazy mornings on the porch with coffee in hand. We laughed often. I thought that kind of love could withstand anything. I was wrong. The cracks didn't appear all at once. They crept in slowly, quietly, until they became chasms I couldn't ignore. It began with little things: a pair of designer heels for a big meeting, a handbag that made me feel polished and powerful. My work world was image-driven, competitive, and sharp. People noticed labels before they noticed names. The first time I splurged, it felt like an indulgence I had earned, a reward for years of hard work. But one splurge became another, then another. Every payday turned into an opportunity to buy something new. Designer bags, gold jewelry, rare perfumes, things that didn't just adorn me, they made me feel like someone important. There was a rush to it. Walking out of a boutique with a sleek shopping bag swinging from my wrist gave me a thrill I couldn't explain. Nick didn't complain at first. In fact, he'd smile and tell me I looked beautiful, but I could see him noticing. The packages began piling up on the doorstep, sometimes 3 in one day. Our closet filled, then overflowed, until I bought extra racks and shelving just to make space. I started hiding some purchases in the trunk of my car until he was at work. Deep down, I knew that wasn't a good sign. Then came the night he was sitting at the kitchen table, papers spread out in front of him. I walked in, holding a new handbag from a boutique I adored. He didn't even look at it. His eyes were on the bills. The air felt heavy, like a storm about to break. He said, "Steph, we need to talk." I tried to wave it off, told him we could go over it later, but he shook his head. He told me the mortgage had been late twice this year, that the credit cards were maxed out. I brushed it off saying, "We make enough money, I've got it covered." But the truth was, I didn't. He asked me to consider counseling, said he'd go with me. He wasn't attacking me, he was reaching for me. But I refused. I told him I needed these things for my job, that in my position appearances mattered. I even laughed, thinking he was being overdramatic, but the look in his eyes was anything but playful. In the weeks that followed, the air in our house changed. Nick started picking up extra jobs, working late into the night. I told myself he was just overreacting, that things would settle down, but I kept spending. Another dress, another pair of shoes, another spray of a luxury perfume. I ignored the unease in my stomach. I ignored the quiet dinners where he barely spoke. I ignored the way his side of the bed felt colder each night. Until the night he stood in our bedroom doorway, still in his work shirt, smelling faintly of burnt wires and dust. He said, "I can't do this anymore." I thought I misheard him, but he repeated it. He told me he loved me, but he couldn't keep carrying the weight of my choices, that he felt like he was drowning and I was standing on the shore with my arms full of shopping bags. Then he walked away. I told myself he'd be back, that once he cooled off, he'd come home, but instead he filed for divorce. The day the papers were signed, I couldn't even need his eyes. It felt like watching a part of myself walk away forever. The first night alone in our house, the silence was unbearable. The rooms felt cavernous, empty in ways I hadn't expected.
Everywhere I looked, I saw pieces of my greed. A handbag perched on a chair, jewelry glinting in the bedroom light, designer heels lined up like trophies. It wasn't beautiful anymore. It was a gallery of my mistakes. I sank into depression, stopped answering calls, stopped smiling. I'd wander from room to room, running my hands over expensive fabrics and leather, wondering what they were really worth. They had cost me the man who once looked at me like I was enough. Nights were the worst. I'd lie in bed, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the clock. No warmth beside me, no kiss goodbye in the morning. I would bury my face in silk pillowcases that felt softer than clouds, but couldn't hold me when I cried. That's when I realized I had traded love for labels. One rainy evening, I sat on the closet floor surrounded by handbags. I picked up a limited edition piece I'd once been desperate to own. It was flawless, and it was empty, just like me. I cried harder than I ever had before, not quiet tears, but deep, gasping sobs. I cried for Nick, for the woman I used to be, for the years I had wasted chasing something that didn't matter. These things had never loved me back. They had never supported me through hard times. They had never made me laugh on a Sunday morning or held me when I was scared. Nick had done all of that, and I let him slip away. I'm telling this story because I know I'm not alone. There are women out there hiding shopping bags in the back of their closet, convincing themselves it's harmless, convincing themselves they deserve it. I thought that too. If you're struggling with excessive shopping, please get help. Talk to someone before it's too late, before your house is full but your heart is empty. No dress will love you. No perfume will keep you warm at night. Now I live in a big, quiet house filled with possessions that no longer sparkle. They stare back at me like silent witnesses to my downfall. If I could trade every single one for just one more morning coffee on the porch with Nick, I would. But I can't. So I live with the lesson that image is worthless without substance, that no amount of status or style will replace the love of someone who sees you as enough, and that the things we think make us shine can also be the very things that destroy us. I wish I had learned it before I lost everything, but now it's all I have left to give. This warning.